Welcome all. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily. We got this impulse up. We got an A. This looking at this as a B at this stage, and then we can get a C down a flat before we get more upside. There is another scenario there that it just goes from here as well. Just an a B, and it just goes from here. But looking at the H4, we got this light 5 up here. We've got this A, B, C in here. I think that just did break the low there. I mean, this was a buy here. We're looking for the buy there. And we did get a, well, non-farm payroll did come out quite good result. So it has pushed itself up there. Really, I mean, the only thing you could really do now is, go with this trend here, get a correction, and scalp with the trend really. This stage. AU on the daily, we're waiting for this wave 4. Waiting for this time factor here, this wave 4. Looking for a sell here. So pretty much there's not really much you can do. It's like DXY. At this stage, you'd be going down onto the lower time frames, looking for a little correction in here and more downside going with this trend. GU, very similar. If I can get it, there we go. So I'm looking for upside here. Looking for this like A, B, C. I was thinking that was it there and we'd go from there. We never did. H4 got the 3 up here. I was looking for more upside in here. We had this nice correction here to buy. Looking at that as the end of the wave C, and it'd go from there. It never did. It just gave us this A, B, C here, then fell over. I'm looking for obviously more downside after we got a sharp move down here. We got a correction, and it's already gone. So again, like the others, there's really not much you can do now. It's already gone. Again, I mean, you'd be waiting for some sort of like 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4, and you could trade a wave 5 down, basically. EU, looking for more upside here too. I was looking at this flat. I tried to go here, get a correction, but we never got more upside. This is becoming very deep now. It's turning more motive. But we got that nice impulse there. This is becoming very deep to this impulse. So there still is a chance we get more upside, but at this stage, there's really not much we can do. We are getting just the bullish divergence in here, and we have 5 down. So we have 5 down there. For a buy, we need a nice impulse up, a bullish setup, and then we could look to buy. Other than that, there's really not much you're doing. We've already fallen out of this correction here. So there's really not much you can do now at this stage. Just scalp going with the trend. That's all you can really do. Take a few of these off. And this, I mean, we got this A, B, C here. Didn't quite get to that 100 pip. Then we got that nice impulse down. Then we had the 3 up in here, and then it started playing around a bit. If I just go down to the lower time frame. So we had the 3 up in here. Then I was looking, we had that nice impulse down here, and I was looking for a correction here, but it went and broke the top, and now it fell over again. So this would have been extremely difficult to trade, but again, what we could do now is if we get a nice correction in here, you could look for a sell. GY, I mean, I'm waiting for this X2 here. Like we got a WXY. I'm waiting for an X2 and we get a Z up. So I'm looking at some sort of an A, a B, and get a C down in here, some sort of a flat before we get that wave Z up. So I'm only looking for downside, like I've been mentioning for quite a while. This one, we had that nice impulse down, and I was looking all at this as corrective. It's finally given a nice impulse down, so we definitely can wait for a correction here and look for a sell. So we got the nice impulse down from the top. If we get a nice corrective structure in here on the H1, well, then we can look for a sell for at least an ABC down, and it should really give us 5 down on the H1. Motive wave. UY, we had the 5 up in here. I mean, I'll have to, zoom out and you can see what I'm looking at, but looking at this A, B, and looking for a C down here. This one did have the, well, if you've been following me for a few weeks, well, last couple of months, you'd know that we already had the 3 down on this one, so we're looking for the buy. If you're going to buy out of GY or UY or GY, UY was the one to buy. And it's just about broken the top here now too. So, there's really not much. I'd be staying out of this now. If you're not in a buy, there is no sell on it. And, yeah, it's getting too risky to buy it. You look at the H1 and there's a lot of bearish divergence, a lot of bearish divergence in here. But yeah, so I'm really only looking for a sell, and yeah, ideally this top here gets broken, and then it gives a nice sell setup. UCAD, it's actually playing out. Overall we had those 5 down here, like the W, X, Y, X2, and that Z down. Then we're really looking at the lower time frame here. And as I warned, we got that 1, 2, 3, a very deep wave for. And like I warned, you have to be very careful because we had that bull hidden and it's already just about gone and broken the top. So There's nothing you can do now. It's like why you're pretty much staying out of it now. Um, but yeah, for that sell, we wanted this low here to be broken, taking out that possible bull hidden, and yeah, the bull hidden divergence has played out pretty much, Um, so yeah, there's no sell set up on it, so there's nothing really to do at this stage. The Swissy, I mean, this is very difficult too. I mean, overall, it's given us this like A, B, C here. That's bounced clean off the 100 fib. Um, so I'm expecting upside, but it's this wave in here after bouncing off that 100 fib. It was very choppy. I'm sort of looking at some sort of A, B, C here, and that played out. Then I was looking for a C down like the A, B, C here. Instead it's kept on. It's still going. You know, that's where that was, and that this wave here just about bounced off the 100 fib there too. But it's still going. So whether we do get another one down here, like some sort of a flat there, and we get an A, a B, and a C, um, before we get like the A, B, C, or it just goes from here. This has been very choppy to trade. So it would have been quite difficult to get in. Um, you can see how choppy it is. Like in here, we did get three down in there, so there was an opportunity to buy, which I did, but then it come back down, take me out, take half out. So it's been difficult, but I mean, the only thing you can really do now is like wait for corrections on the smaller time frames and just go with the trend. So that's about all you can really do at this stage. EG, I'd be pretty much staying out of this. This is virtually untradeable now in here. Um, we had that nice leading diagonal here. We got an A, B, C. It tried to go here, but it never went. Um, you know, and instead we're getting this. So, I mean, I think it's bullish, but it's so difficult to trade that you'd be getting absolutely cut to pieces trading this. All right, to start off with, after this C, we're looking at that A, B, C in here, that flat. And then I was looking for it to go. Well, it did go and it went up to that 100 fib. And then, it's just given us like really choppy waves. I'd really be staying out of it. There's really no direction. It's sideways. It's in some sort of a channel. So going sideways. So, yeah, there's really not much you can do with it. Right? Very risky to trade at this stage. WTI, we're getting a correction here. We had that nice impulse up, which we were looking for. We're looking for that C up. And then we've just been waiting for a correction. It's been very choppy, as you can see. So we had this in here to sell. It's already given us that three down in here. Gave us sort of an impulse up in here. I mean, it's looking for a buy. We had that impulse up in here, but it never turned motive. It only gave us that three up. So, I mean, there's a couple scenarios here. we get a flat in here, and then an A, B, C, or it turns motive, which ideally it would, or it just falls over, like, and this is some sort of an A, B, C here, flat, and we got, more downside here. So there's no buy setup on the lower time frames to buy this. They've been sell setups. It's been giving. So I mean, because it's already given it, if I just go down the lower time frame here, and we were looking for 5 down here, and it gave us that. Now we're starting to get that bullish divergence, but it's still looking very much bearish. You're just scalping at this stage. It's pretty much all you can really do with it. It's hard to know which way it will actually go. There's 2 different scenarios and 2 different directions. So, yeah. Gold, we're waiting for, this here was looking very much bullish and still is, really. I mean, it's very choppy. So there's a chance we get some sort of an A, B, C up in here. Or it plays out how I was looking at it, and we get like this. We had this an A, B, C here, and then A, B, C, finishing off this B wave, and then we had an A, a B, and we get a C down. I mean, this C down is extremely choppy. It doesn't look motive like we should get in a C wave. So I was sort of thinking that this would, because this was so looking well, we had that impulse up in here and was sort of very choppy in here. So I was thinking we might get some upside. And on the lower time frame, I was actually looking for a buy, but it never, it never played out. I mean, we had this nice impulse up in here. I had a flat there for an A, B, C, but as you can see, the C wave just fell over. This still can be a flat, and we get an A, a B, and a C in here, a flat, and then we get more downside. So that's our only real hope now, is if we get a move up and we get a flat in here and then a sell set up to sell. Ideally, that would be the safest way to sell this now, unless you just go down onto the lower time frames and wait for a sell, a correction and a sell setup and just sell with this trend here. Yeah. But yeah, I was looking for a buy, but it just wouldn't give me one. I think I got a buy out of it, but it was break even. The silver's virtually the same. It's very similar to gold. We're looking at this as very corrective to go and break the low. Ideally, it does now, and we get that, like, this is a B wave, and we're looking for that B wave for a long time, and then we get a C up. Again, there's really not much you can do now. You're just scalping with this trend. Yeah. Bitcoin, this has played out how we were looking at it. We're looking at this as very bearish. Bell over there, we're looking at this as very bearish, and it's already fallen over. It's already broken the low. So there's nothing really to do here until we start getting bullish setups on the lower time frames, because we're starting to get bullish divergence on the daily here now. So with this low broken, I mean, we've got to be very patient here, waiting for this wave to be over. And as you can see on the H4, we don't have any bullish divergence, so more than likely there's still more downside in it. It may give some sort of a correction in here, and a bear hidden. and then you get more downside. So the longer term buy isn't, I'm not looking for the longer term buy just because that low over here has been broken. Um, More than likely, there's still more downside in it, but you could, if you're buying at this stage, you're really just buying into a correction because more than likely there's going to be more downside. So ideally, you wait for a correction and sell rather than look for buys. And if you're looking for buys, it could be quite choppy and waste of your time because it just comes back and takes you out at break even all the time. So there's really not much you can do here unless you're scalping the buys, which is going to be choppy more than likely. I mean, ideally for a buy setup, I'd want a nice impulse up like this, a nice correction, and then at least I could trade it for an A, B, C up. And then if it doesn't break that top, well, it gives us a bare hidden divergence here. And then we look for a sell up here, my mouse is playing up, but we get some sort of a sell after 3 up. We could look for a sell to go and break the low again. So there may be some good opportunities to scout this. But yeah, at this stage is really not much at all. Not until we get some sort of a correction. S&P 500, we're only looking for sells here. It has hopefully this is the end of the wave 5 on the weekly. Like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the weekly. We're only looking for sells. There was nothing really on the daily. Oh well, we were looking at this here when this was very choppy, just breaking the top, and we had that flat there. We were looking for a flat there, but that's already gone. Only looking for sells really. The H4 we had all the bearish divergence. The H1 we had all the bearish divergence, and now it's fallen over. So we can trade this. We have to wait for some sort of a correction on the lower time frame, and then we can look for a sell for at least a lot 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4, and then trade a wave 5 down. Then we may get a larger correction and look for a sell again. A U200, nothing's really changed on this. I would like to see more upside in this, but the non-farm payroll pretty much destroyed that idea. We got this impulse up in here. I mean, this was looking very choppy. I said, you've got to be very careful here. It has fallen over, so we are still within this impulse here. So we can still look for buys, but we got to wait for an end here and then some sort of a buy setup. Other than that, you can just sell. You can only sell very similar to S&P 500. Like you'd be going down onto the lower time frame, M30 probably, and you get 1, 2, 3, you get a wave 4, you get a bear hidden, and you trade a wave 5 down. The FTSE, this is in no man's land at the moment. There's a couple of different scenarios here. Like we get an A, B, C, and then we get a flat before we get more upside. Before we get some sort of a correction breaking that low, and we get an A, B, C for a C down. So there are a couple of different scenarios here. Like I said, we're really in no man's land in here because it can give us one up in here for an A, B, C, or it can give us one down, like an A, B, C in here. So Yeah, there's a couple of different scenarios there. You're pretty much just scalping at this stage. And at this stage, well, it looks rather bullish actually. Well, it's already gone, so it's already given us three up there. So it'd be bearish, on the lower time frames. Lastly, the DAX. I would still be looking for upside here, really, to go and break these highs because have had a B, and a C. I mean, we extended this. This was an A, B, C here for like an A, B, C here, and we were looking for upside there, and that we got that. But now this could be that larger correction, like an A, a B, and a C up in here before we get an A, B, C. We got that, and then goes up and breaks the top. So yeah, look on the lower time frames to see if there's. I mean, see, over here, I was looking for that one, two, three, get a wave four and a wave five down. Instead, this even come up and broke this top over here. So, I mean, we have bearish divergence in here, but it's not really giving us a self setup. This is quite choppy. You can see this is quite choppy. Um, compared to that wave. So it's still rather bullish, but how deep does this become? This may even come and break the low in a very choppy wave. Um, you are starting to get bullish divergence there too. So I mean, on the lower time frames, if you went down to the M15 or something, and you got some sort of a correction in here, you could look for sell, just scalping, going with, this trend. So I hope you got something out of this weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.